Are you struggling to wrap your head around classes, inheritance, and polymorphism in Python? Or perhaps you're preparing for a certification and need to test your real-world application skills? In this video, we will cover Python OOP practice questions, master object-oriented programming concepts, master Python object-oriented programming, OOP, with this comprehensive practice set. In this video, we dive deep into 30 comprehensive Python object-oriented programming practice questions. We cover everything from the basics of dunder methods to complex multiple inheritance and encapsulation strategies. Make sure to grab a notebook and try to answer each question before we reveal the explanation. What is the purpose of the self parameter in Python class methods? Option A. It represents the class itself. Option B. It is a keyword to create a new instance. Option C. It represents the specific instance of the object. Option D. It is used to make a method private. The correct answer is C. In Python, self is the conventional name for the first argument of an instance method. It refers to the specific instance of the object that is calling the method. This allows the method to access and modify attributes and other methods belonging to that specific object. Without self, the code would not know which object's data to manipulate. Note that self is not a reserved keyword in Python, but it is a strictly followed naming convention. Which of the following describes multiple inheritance in Python? Option A. A class deriving from more than one base class. Option B. A base class having multiple child classes. Option C. Creating multiple instances of the same class. Option D. A class that inherits from a class which also inherits from another class. The correct answer is A. Multiple inheritance is a feature where a class can inherit attributes and methods from more than one parent class. Python supports this through a comma-separated list of parent classes in the class definition, e.g., class child, parent 1, parent 2. This is distinct from multi-level inheritance. Option D. And hierarchical inheritance. Option B. Multiple inheritance uses the method resolution order, MRO, to determine which method to call if the same name exists in multiple parents. In Python, how is a private attribute conventionally indicated? Option A. Using the private keyword before the variable name. Option B. Using a double underscore prefix. Option C. Using a single underscore prefix. Option D. By declaring the variable inside a method instead of the class. The correct answer is B. Python uses name mangling to handle private members. By prefixing an attribute name with two underscores, e.g., __ variable, Python internally changes the name to include the class name, e.g., _classname__ variable, making it harder to access from outside the class. A single underscore, option C, is a convention indicating a protected member, suggesting it shouldn't be accessed externally, but it doesn't trigger name mangling. Which dunder method is called when an object is initialized? Option A, __new__. Option B, __call__. Option C, __init__. Option D, __start___. The correct answer is C. The __init___ method is known as the constructor or initializer in Python. It is automatically called when a new instance of a class is created. Its primary role is to initialize the object's state by assigning values to its properties, while __new__ actually creates the instance. __init__ is where most developers perform setup logic. __call_ is used to make an object callable like a function. What is method overriding in Python? Option A. Defining two methods with the same name but different parameters in the same class. Option B. A child class providing a specific implementation of a method already defined in its parent class. Option C. Calling a method of a class using an object of another class. Option D. Deleting a method from a parent class so the child cannot use it. The correct answer is B. Method overriding occurs when a subclass, child class, provides a specific implementation for a method that is already defined in its superclass, parent class. This allows the child class to change or extend the behavior of that method. This is a core part of polymorphism, allowing a uniform interface to behave differently based on the object's type. What is the difference between a class attribute and an instance attribute? Option A. Class attributes are unique to every object. Instance attributes are shared. Option B. Class attributes are defined inside __init__. Instance attributes are defined outside. Option C. Class attributes are shared by all instances. Instance attributes are unique to each object. Option D. There is no difference. The terms are interchangeable. The correct answer is C. Class attributes are variables defined directly within the class body. They are shared by all instances of that class. If you change a class attribute, the change is reflected across all objects. Instance attributes, however, are usually defined inside the __init__ method using self. They are unique to each object, meaning changing an instance attribute in one object does not affect others. How do you create an abstract class in Python? Option A. By using the abstract keyword before the class definition. Option B. By inheriting from the ABC class in the ABC module. Option C. By making all methods in the class private. Option D. By defining a class without any methods. The correct answer is B. To create an abstract class in Python, you must import the ABC abstract base class and the abstract method decorator from the ABC module. A class that inherits from ABC and contains at least one method decorated with an abstract method cannot be instantiated. This forces subclasses to implement the abstract methods before they can be used, ensuring a consistent contract. What characterizes a static method in Python? Option A. It must take self as the first argument. Option B. It must take CLS as the first argument. Option C. It does not receive an implicit first argument, neither self nor CLS. Option D. It can only be called on the class, not on an instance. The correct answer is C. A static method is a method that belongs to the namespace of the class but does not require access to the instance, self, or the class, CLS, state. It behaves like a plain function but is logically grouped within the class. While it can be called on both the class and the instance, it is typically used for utility functions that relate to the class's purpose but don't need to modify internal data. What is the primary use case for add-class method? Option A. To create a method that cannot be overridden. Option B. To create factory methods that return class instances for different use cases. Option C. To speed up the execution of the method. Option D. To make a method private to the class. The correct answer is B. A class method receives the class itself as the first argument, conventionally named CLS, rather than the instance. This makes them ideal for factory methods. For example, if you want to provide multiple ways to create an object, e.g., from a string, from a dictionary, or with default values, class methods allow you to define these alternate constructors while still being able to handle inheritance correctly. Which method is used to define the official string representation of an object? Often used for debugging? Option A, __str___. Option B, __format___. Option C, __reaper___. Option D, __doc___. The correct answer is C. __reaper___. Representation is intended to be an unambiguous string representation of an object, ideally looking like the code used to create the object. It is used by developers for debugging. __str___. On the other hand, is meant to be a pretty or readable version for the end user. If __str___ is not defined, Python will fall back to __reaper___. What does the super function do? Option A. It calls the constructor of the current class. Option B. It allows you to call methods of the parent class from the child class. Option C. It converts a child class into a parent class. Option D. It stops the inheritance chain. The correct answer is B. The super function is used to give access to methods and properties of a parent or sibling class. It returns a temporary object of the superclass, which then allows you to call its methods. The most common use case is calling the parent's __init__ method within the child's __init__ method to ensure proper initialization of the base attributes. Which method is called when an object is about to be destroyed or garbage collected? Option A, __stop___. Option B, __exit___. Option C, __del__. Option D, __delete__. The correct answer is C. The __del__ method is known as the destructor. It is called when all references to the object have been deleted and the garbage collector is about to reclaim the memory. However, note that __del__ is not guaranteed to be called immediately when del obj is executed, as it depends on Python's garbage collection cycle. How can you check if an object is an instance of a specific class? Option A. Type obj == class. Option B. Is instance obj Class. Option C. OBJ, ICE class. Class. Option D. OBJ, has instance. Class. The correct answer is B. The isInstance function is the recommended way to check an object's type. It takes an object and a class, or a tuple of classes, as arguments and returns true if the object is an instance of that class or a subclass thereof. Using type. Option A is less flexible because it does not account for inheritance, i.e., it won't return true if the object is a subclass instance. What is the method resolution order, MRO? Option A. The order in which objects are created. Option B. The hierarchy of class attributes. Option C. The order in which Python searches for a method in a multi-class hierarchy. Option D. The process of converting code into machine language. The correct answer is C. MRO is the order in which Python looks for a method or attribute when it is called on an object. In cases of multiple inheritance, Python uses the C3 linearization algorithm to determine this order. You can view the MRO of any class by calling the .mro method or accessing the __mro__ attribute on the class. What does the @property decorator do? Option A. It makes a class attribute read-only. Option B. It allows a method to be accessed like an attribute. Option C. It creates a pointer to a specific memory address. Option D. It encrypts the variable data. The correct answer is B. The @property decorator is used to define getter methods that can be accessed like attributes. This allows you to add logic, like validation or computation, when an attribute is accessed, without changing the syntax used by the caller. It promotes encapsulation by hiding the internal data representation. Which of these is used to define a class in Python? Option A. Def classname. Option B. Class classname. Option C. Object classname. Option D. New classname. The correct answer is B. In Python, the class keyword is used to define a new class. By convention, class names use cap words. Pascal case. Style. Unlike some other languages, Python does not require a new keyword to create an instance. You simply call the class name as if it were a function. What is duck typing in Python? Option A. A way to force an object to behave like a specific type. Option B. The practice of checking for a method's existence rather than the object's type. Option C. A method to convert objects into strings. Option D. A strict type checking mechanism introduced in Python 3.10. The correct answer is B. Duck typing is a concept related to dynamic typing. The name comes from the phrase, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. In Python, this means that the suitability of an object is determined by the presence of certain methods and properties, rather than the actual type of the object. This allows for greater flexibility and polymorphism. What is composition in OOP? Option A. Inheriting from a parent class. Option B. Combining multiple classes into one file. Option C. A design principle where a class contains an instance of another class. Option D. The process of writing clean code. The correct answer is C. Composition represents a has a relationship, whereas inheritance represents an is a relationship. In composition, a class, the composite, includes instances of other classes as its attributes. This allows for complex behavior to be built by combining simpler, modular objects, often providing more flexibility than deep inheritance trees. What is the purpose of __slots __ in a Python class? Option A. To allow the class to be used as a dictionary. Option B. To restrict the creation of attributes to a specific set and save memory. Option C. To define the order of methods in the class. Option D. To make the class compatible with older Python versions. The correct answer is B. By default, Python uses a dictionary __dict__ to store an object's instance attributes, which can consume a lot of memory. By defining __slots __, a list of attribute names, you tell Python not to use a dictionary and only allocate space for the specific attributes listed. This significantly reduces memory usage for classes with many instances and prevents the dynamic creation of new attributes. Which method allows an object to be used with the len function? Option A, __size__. Option B, __count__. Option C, __len__. Option D, __length__. The correct answer is C. To make an object compatible with the built-in len function, you must implement the __len__dunder method in your class. It should return an integer representing the size or length of the object. This is part of Python's data model, which allows custom objects to behave like built-in types. What happens if a child class does not define an __init__ method? Option A. The object cannot be created. Option B. Python automatically creates an empty __init__ method for the child. Option C. It automatically inherits the __init__ method of its parent class. Option D. It throws a type error. The correct answer is C. If a subclass does not define its own __init__ method, it will automatically use the __init__ method of its base class. However, if the subclass does define its own __init__ it must explicitly call the parent's __init__ usually via super __init__ if it wants the parent's initialization logic to run as well. What is the purpose of a setter in Python? Option A. To initialize the class. Option B. To provide a way to modify a private or protected attribute with validation. Option C. To delete an attribute from an object. Option D. To set the class as a static entity. The correct answer is B. A setter is a method used to change the value of an attribute. When combined with the @property decorator, using @attribute_name.setter, it allows you to intercept the assignment of a value. This is useful for validating data, e.g., ensuring a price is not negative before it is actually stored in the object's attribute. What does vars obj return? Option A. A list of all methods in the object. Option B. The memory address of the object. Option C. The __dict__ attribute of the object. Its instance variables. Option D. A list of all parent classes. The correct answer is C. The vars function returns the __dict__ attribute of the given object, which is a dictionary containing all the instance-specific attributes and their values. If called without an argument, it acts like locals. It is a very useful tool for inspecting the internal state of an object during debugging. Which method is called when you use the plus operator on two objects? Option A, __plus__. Option B, __sum__. Option C, __add__. Option D, __append__. The correct answer is C. The __add___ method is used to implement the addition operator. Plus. This is known as operator overloading. By defining __add__ in your class, you can specify how two objects of that class, or an object of that class and another type, should be added together. Can you instantiate an abstract base class, ABC, directly? Option A. Yes. Always. Option B. No. If it contains at least one abstract method. Option C. Only if it doesn't have any instance variables. Option D. Yes. But only in Python 2. The correct answer is B. An abstract base class, ABC, that contains at least one abstract method cannot be instantiated. If you try to create an object from such a class, Python will raise a type error. The purpose of an ABC is to define a blueprint interface for other classes to inherit from and implement. Every class in Python 3 implicitly inherits from which base class? Option A, base. Option B, root. Option C, object. Option D, class. The correct answer is C. In Python 3, all classes automatically inherit from the built-in object class, even if you don't explicitly state it. This is why all Python objects share certain common behaviors and attributes, like __str__, and __reaper__. What is the diamond problem in OOP? Option A. A memory leak caused by circular references. Option B. An ambiguity that arises when a class inherits from two classes that both inherit from a single parent. Option C. When a class is too large and needs to be broken down. Option D. A type of encryption used in class attributes. The correct answer is B. The diamond problem occurs in multiple inheritance. If class D inherits from B and C, and both B and C inherit from A, and there's a method in A that B and C override differently, which version should D inherit? Python resolves this using the method resolution order, MRO, and the C3 linearization algorithm to ensure a predictable and consistent search path. Which method allows an object to be used as a context manager with the with statement? Option A, __open__ and __close__. Option B. Underscore underscore start underscore underscore and underscore underscore stop underscore underscore. Option C. Underscore underscore enter underscore underscore and underscore underscore exit underscore underscore. Option D. Underscore underscore with underscore underscore and underscore underscore end underscore underscore. The correct answer is C. To create a context manager, a class must implement two methods. Underscore underscore enter underscore underscore and underscore underscore exit underscore underscore. The underscore underscore enter underscore underscore method is executed at the start of the with block, and the underscore underscore exit underscore underscore method is executed at the end, even if an exception occurs. This is commonly used for resource management, such as closing files or database connections. What is a metaclass in Python? Option A. A class that is used to create other classes. Option B. A hidden class within a class. Option C. A class that can only have one instance. Singleton. Option D. The highest level of inheritance in a script. The correct answer is A. In Python, classes themselves are objects, and the type that creates these class objects is called a metaclass. By default, type is the metaclass for all classes. You can create custom metaclasses to modify the creation and behavior of classes, e.g., automatically adding methods or enforcing coding standards at the class creation level. How do you access the documentation string, docstring, of a class? Option A. Classname.doc. Option B. Classname underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. Option C. Classname.get underscore doc. Option D. Help classname string. The correct answer is B. DOC strings are literal strings that appear right after the definition of a class, method, or function. They are stored in the underscore underscore doc underscore underscore attribute of the object. You can access it directly via obj underscore underscore doc underscore underscore, or by using the built-in help function, which reads and formats this attribute for you. That wraps up our 30-question deep dive into Python object-oriented programming. I hope these questions helped clarify the complex concepts of OOP and gave you more confidence for your upcoming exams or interviews. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more Python tutorials, and share it with your fellow developers. For the full-length practice exams and detailed study guides, check the link in the description below.